I was in Turkey working on a different project with a journalist, and I had one day left before I was due to fly back to the UK, and I just asked, oh, is there any, what else could we do together while I'm here? And Christina Asquith, the journalist, was aware of the work of these activists, the We Will Stop Femicide platform. And we decided to arrange to meet with Aishin, one of their activists, and follow her meeting with a woman that she was supporting. And that woman was Arzu, who is one of the main characters of the film. She had recently been shot in the arms and legs by her husband when she tried to leave him. And it was, it was such a shocking meeting to see that level of violence that she had encountered, and also to learn that her husband blamed her for what had happened. I think it felt like it wasn't a story that many people knew about, that there was a real urgency, and also that Arzu had a voice and needed to have her story told. So that was the real seed of the idea. But I think as I got to learn more about the activists in Turkey, and how dynamic and energized they were to create change and to really tackle this global problem head on, I felt there was a lot that all societies could learn from them. So it was part to do with following survivors rebuilding their lives and activists fighting. I think I was attracted to this story because it's a story that I felt a lot of people could take inspiration from. The film was completely affected by the changing political situation in Turkey. When I first met with the activists, as I mentioned, they were so dynamic and they were fighting at all levels for change. They were trying to change laws. They were protesting every week. They were doing everything in such a creative and energized way. I initially thought the film would be about these grave issues of domestic abuse and femicide, but also about these amazing women changing laws and rebuilding their lives. But then in 2016, the attempted coup changed everything, and the kind of repressive crackdown that ensued afterwards, with hundreds and thousands of people being arrested. And it shifted the situation for İpek, the lawyer, because all of a sudden people that she knew were being arrested, and colleagues of her were being arrested, and activists she knew were being arrested. Also, as a movement, one of the key things that the women were doing was protesting in the street, and that was also curtailed at that time. So it really felt like suddenly İpek, the lawyer, was fighting for a voice in just the same way that Kubra is one of the women in the film, fights for a voice, fights to be able to testify against her husband. So the changes were unprecedented, and we just had to keep on our toes and follow the story as it was unfolding, and look for the connection between the women's stories and the wider story, and how they spoke to each other, and how these big political changes were affecting women. And that was one of the key focuses of the way in which we filmed the stories. We're always trying to understand them in a wider context. And what was quite amazing was that the wider context just kept changing and shifting all the time. And, the activists were initially fighting to change laws, and it shifted to just being able to keep hold of the laws that were already in place. The film was well received in the UK. We waited a long time to release it in the UK because of the pandemic. So it had already been released at festivals and in other places before it came to the UK, but we had our UK premiere last autumn, and we had a really good response. We got a lot of press and media attention, and I think it felt that people recognised what we wanted to, which was not a situation that's completely alien, but actually a situation that speaks to the situation in the UK, and that that this film was really a spark for wider discussions about issues of domestic abuse and femicide within the UK and about the global problem more widely. Yeah, as mentioned, I think I was compelled to make this film because this is a global problem. Domestic abuse and femicide is a global problem, and it's a big problem in the UK. And the fact that the UK hasn't signed the Istanbul Convention is shocking, because I think every country should be doing whatever they can to try and stop domestic abuse and femicide.